Hello and welcome. I'm Umbra, and this is Slay the Spire. This is a game that I saw another YouTuber play, and it really struck a chord with me. It's a game I kind of want to look into and play around a little bit. I've already played a bit, and I'm really enjoying it, so I thought I'd record a few videos and just play around with it. I'm not going to do the too long for each of the videos. What's nice about this game is you can stop in the middle of it and save and exit, but it is a very roguelike type game where one run, like you play a run at a time. So it's not like you'll have multiple saves, but rather you'll play through a run, and if you need to stop somewhere, you can save, quit, come back to it, play it. We're just going to dive right in. I've already played a lot on one of these characters. We're going to play this character called the Ironclad. I haven't done much with this character other than just the quick play, which unlocked the silent. But we're going to go ahead and start with the Ironclad. And this is how every run begins, except for your very first run does not begin like this. You talk to this guy called Meow or something like that. I can't really remember his name. Sometimes he'll give you stuff like this, but I think it has to do with something I unlocked with the other character. He now occasionally just gives me random benefits. I'll go into what these benefits each mean after I... let's just go for the straight up max HP and then dive right into it. So this is, let's call this the overworld. This is our map. This shows the paths. We start at one of these spots at the beginning. One of these spots, these are all monsters, and we'll start, and you can see how the paths go up, and you'll run into different things along your paths. Eventually, you're looking to get to here, which is the boss. This is actually the most unique path setup I've ever seen, because usually all these kind of intertwined a good bit and then separate off. You can see their icons for normal monsters, shops. Unknowns can be monsters, it can be shops, it can be events, good and bad. And then we want to make our way to these campfires. And I'll show you what those do later. These would be like your upgrades you earn, to compare it to, I guess, Isaac or... yeah, the Binding of Isaac is probably the best reference for this. This would be like your item room. But unlike the Binding of Isaac, I really do enjoy this game. There's something about it that makes me really get engrossed in it and lose track of time. So let's just start. I'm not going to work too hard on choosing a path. Just pick this one. So it's a deck building game. And the way it starts, you have your energy, you have your health, you have some gold, which you started with. I believe both characters start with 99 gold, unless you get something from the beginning. Our character's trait is he has the burning blood. At the end of combat, he heals 6 HP. And each character has different decks. So this character, you notice the cards are bordered with red. The other character is bordered with green cards. And then there are colorless cards, which I believe are useful for either character. And you can hover over, you can usually see what your enemy is going to do. So this says strategic enemy intends to use a buff. So we don't have to really worry about being attacked. So in this case, we're just going to go straight up and throw out these attacks. You can see the little number symbol up here denotes how much energy it's going to take. So I just threw out 2 1 attacks. And it brought my energy down to 1 out of the 3. We have 10 cards in your deck. You can view all of them right here. This is the basic starting deck. So we have 5 strike, 4 defend, and 1 bash. So they're all 1 except for this one. And you'll get chances to expand it later. In fact, after this battle, we'll see that. But there's no reason to keep energy between turns unless you've got something that says there's a reason to. So we're just going to burn all our energy. When we're done, we're just going to go ahead and end the turn. Now you may ask what happens when you run out of cards, but we'll see on the, not the next hand, but the hand after that. So let's go ahead. He's going to deal 6 damage to us, and we want to avoid that damage. But I'm pretty sure I've got this battle in a safe way. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to block 5 of it, which means I'm still going to take 1 damage. I think I'm going to end this within the next turn, and then I'll heal 6 HP. So I'm using a little bit of a more advanced idea, spending my HP as a resource. We're going to go ahead and end our turn. Enemy attacks. He breaks through that block. So what block does, well, first we'll explain this. Sorry, all over the place. We recycle our cards from our discard to our draw pile again. And there's never a time, like, you don't have to worry about getting rid of cards. Unless they say something related to that, you don't have to worry about discarding them. They're going to come back in again. And this leads to some more advanced strategies later. The block that I did before, and we're going to do it again because I don't want to take that much damage. 18. Yeah, I don't want to take that much damage. Block gives you damage reduction, I think is the best way to say it. And it's that many points blocks that much damage, and then it's used up. So maybe not damage reduction, armor is probably a better way to think of it. So this will block the first 5 points of damage, and then even if there was another attack after that, it would block no more. And if I still had armor at the end of the turn, when the enemy is done attacking, I would lose that armor. So armor does not carry over turn to turn. You can't just stack it up. There are some exceptions, but that's the same with just about every card game. So we're going to take an additional 4 damage, but we're still only going to be down 5 damage total. And the reason that I'm okay with that, okay, yeah, just making sure my math is right. The reason I'm okay with that is because, again, we're going to heal for 6 at the end of combat. And we're just going to end it. Now, in the future ones, I'll show what those buffs were. I didn't really think about the fact that those were there. So we got 17 gold. We got a potion, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment. And we can now add a card to our deck. So this is a power. Actually, the only thing we don't have is attack. So there's 3 card types. There's a power, a skill, and attack. And I don't have the attack, but they basically relate to what they do and what 3 types. There might be more that I'm unaware of. So this is at the end of my turn, I'll gain 3 block. So this is actually really nice for a warrior. I don't have to block as much or worry about blocking as much. I'll just naturally gain some block at the end of every turn. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to help blunt some damage, or in conjunction with other block cards, help you survive a nasty attack. Let's see. And powers go on permanently. Like, once you play them in the battle, in the combat, they last for the entire combat. Warcry, draw 2 cards, place a card from your hand on the top of your draw pile, and then exhaust. So you can see there's a little tooltip over on the right hand side. It says what exhaust does. It's removed at the end until the end of combat. So you lose it for the combat, and then you get it back for your next one, your next one, your next one. But that's only if it's played. You can have it cycle through your discard back into your play deck again a few times, and if you just don't play it, you don't have to worry about going away until you play it. Start of each turn, gain 2 strength. And I'm not sure, I think the borders denote their rarity in a way. Let's take Demon Form. I've not played with the Warrior as much as I have the other class, but I do think there's a lot of potential with the Warriors. So now we're going into this question mark. And so you see that there's... Now, we see this winged statue. Among the stone and boulders, you notice an intricate large blue statue resembling a wing. You find gold spilling from its cracks. Maybe there's more inside. So I could pray and remove a card from my deck and lose 7 HP. Even if you have good cards in your deck, there's times you might gain bad ones, but even if you have good cards in your deck, it might be a good idea to do this just to thin down your deck so you're cycling through your better cards quicker. I've never seen this because I've never gotten it with a card that does 10 or more damage. So we're just going to leave it for right now. And go on to our next fight. And hopefully we'll get to talk about buffs and debuffs a little bit. This enemy I know does a few buffs, so that's not going to be too tricky. He's going to attack for 11, so we're just going to go ahead and throw up our defense. So you can see the enemy is aggressive. This enemy intends to attack for 11 damage. And we're just going to blunt it out. And now you see he's on the defensive. This enemy tends to block and use a buff. Most of the time when enemies are going to block, they also use a buff. There's a few enemies I've seen that just block. And this should help me explain what buffs are and how the tooltip for those works. But since we're not going to be attacked, it's safe to just kind of hit them as hard as we can. You see that vulnerable, so here's a good example of debuff. That bash card we used that did the 12 damage, it makes enemies take 50% more damage, and since it's a 2, for 2 turns. And so this will be a turn. At the end of his turn, one of those will count off, and at the end of his next turn, it'll count off. And now he has a strength, so his attack damage increases by 3. And this isn't like how Vulnerable's got that little 1 in the bottom. On this one, the 3 denotes that's how much it increases by. This will not wear off. Now, I don't know if they can stack it. I haven't really seen the enemy do that repeatedly. Also, you notice he has the armor. Now, I could wait a turn and his armor would disappear. We're not going to do that just yet. He's going to do 14. Could block once and take 9, or... Oh, this does 8, not 12. But yeah, it applies to vulnerable. We're going to do this. We're going to play it a little safe. We can take the 4 damage that's going to bleed over my armor and continue on. But, it's... I've heard people compare it a little bit to Hearthstone, but it's not Hearthstone, and I've heard people compare it to other roguelikes. I find that the game is just a really enjoyable sit down and lose yourself in a kind of game. He's almost gone. So play it through, see what happens. So more armor, so we're going to have to either burn through that armor. Let's see. I can do 14 total damage. Well, actually, I'll do a little more. Yeah, I think we can just end this right now. I didn't get to use demon form, but we'll probably see it here in another battle. So now we have an attack. You can see 1 energy, pommel strike, deal 9 damage, draw 1 card. This is even better than our base card. Headbutt, deal 9 damage, place a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. Can be useful for deck manipulation. I'm going to take Shrug It Off. Just having a little better of a block card, one that's better than our current ones, and the ability to draw more cards. And now we'll go to a shop. So this is the shopkeeper. We can buy different cards. These are colorless cards that don't really fit only to one character. But you notice how all these are red because they fit exactly to only our character. Now these cards do not carry over between runs. So once this run is over, all the cards I added into my deck will go away, and the next time I play the warrior, I'll start with a basic deck again. Let's see. Disarm loses 2 strength, so this would be a permanent loses 2 strength, but then I lose it for the rest of the combat. Might be good against like a high damage enemy or a boss. Create a copy. Card in your hand. 2 damage 4 times, and then exhaust. I don't like exhaust cards unless I've either they're really good or I've got something that works with them. Rampage deals 8 damage. Every time this card is played, increase the damage by 4 for this combat. Ooh. Yeah, that actually, it's just a straight upgrade to the regular attacks. Draw 3 cards and exhaust. And notice how this has a 0 energy cost. So we can just play this for free. If this is in our hand, we can just play it without any concern. But I can't really afford those. And then I can remove a card. Now this does increase every time I remove a card by 25 gold. So it starts off 75, then goes to 100. And you can only do it once per shopkeeper. So if I do it now, I'll have to wait until the next shopkeeper to do it. And then I can buy some relics. And these are things that, like your Burning Blood, modify your combat or your adventure through the map. So at the start of turn, lose 15 block rather than all of your blocks. So if you stacked your block really high, you'd only lose 15 of it. Most of the time in the beginning, this isn't going to make much of a difference, but later I could see that really getting powerful. And this is, you can now gain strength at campfires. I'm not sure if this is permanent, like as long as you are flying through a run. But I did get this on one run, and it's basically every time you get to a campfire, instead of doing the other 2 options you have, you can choose to improve your strength by 1. And then Pentagraph at the start of boss combats, heal 25 HP. That's actually kind of nifty. I'm not going to buy any potions. I think we're just going to leave. I got the one card I thought was really good. And speaking of potions, go into it real quick. So you can hold up to 3 potions. You'll sometimes get them at the end of combat. And to use them, you just click on them and drink or throw, because there are some that are throwable. Or you can discard them. But if you get more than 3, you have to discard 1. So it's like, once you get to 3, it's probably good to throw them out every once in a while, just see what you can do with them or what advantages you can get with them, because you're probably going to get another one pretty soon. So pretty standard. Throw 2 blocks, throw an attack. And this guy is a leader, so he steals 15 gold whenever he attacks. I hate these guys, because also when they start losing the fight, there's a chance they'll run and they'll take all the gold that they've stolen. So right there, he took 15. We'll just shrug it off. Go ahead and do Rampage just to get that started. Though I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to use it multiple times. And he's going to deal 2 damage over my defense, but I think we're going to be alright. Haven't really gotten a chance to use that demon form. Alright, so we can still eat that damage pretty well. We'll heal the 6 at the end. In fact, start of each turn. You know, let's just see what happens. Let's go ahead and use it. This should... So strength, every time... So you get a point, or 2 points in this case. Every point of strength increases the damage on your cards by another point. So these normally did 6, they now do 8. This was already plus 4, so this went up to 12 and now does 14. I think we can just go ahead and end the combat. So we took a little more damage there, but, and you can see 45 gold stolen back. Additional 13 gold and a block potion. Then let's see. Played 3 cards. Gain 12 block. 4 damage to attack it. You know what? That looks like a really good card. It'll be like a block version of the Smash card I have. And this is an elite monster. So you saw the little monster icon that had horns on it. this is an elite monster. After these, we usually get a better reward, but they're usually a lot tougher. So you see he's got Metallicize, that one ability card that we saw earlier. Gain 8 block at the end of its turn. But right now he's also asleep. So I could, if I wanted to, just kind of play it and discard my hand until I got demon form. Oh. Is he still... No? Is he still sleeping? Looks like he's soon to wake up. I've actually never waited. I usually just attack. But I want to see if we can't stack it a little bit. Alright, so he is still asleep. And we got our demon form. So now our attacks are even more powerful. So we're going to go ahead and throw Rampage out there. And you can see, because he has woken up from his sleep, and I've never seen the sleep status before, other than this enemy. He's stunned. So I don't know if all enemies who are put to sleep and then hit and woke up are stunned, but we can take advantage of it. So this is like a free turn of just wailing on the enemy. And so he's got weakness, so he's going to take more damage. And now he's going to deal 18 damage to us. But our strength has gone up by another 2 points. So now our base strike's still 10 damage. Let's go ahead and get up our armor a little bit. He's still going to hit us pretty hard, so let's go ahead and use our regeneration potion. So for the next 5 turns, we'll heal 3 HP. It'll help us mitigate some of this damage we're about to take. And then just deal 10 straight up. Alright, so we got Flame Barrier. We'll bash, or we can go ahead and defend. I'm going to play it a little risky. Go ahead and hit him with bash, and then hit him with a strike, and end the turn. So I'm going to take 18 damage from here. And now he intends to inflict a powerful negative effect. I've seen this say a few different things, like inflict a negative effect, buff, and then like buff and debuff, or negative effect. So this is probably going to be pretty nasty, whatever this is, but we don't have to worry about defending. And now our rampage is up to 20. So you can see how this all stacks up pretty quick, and just allows us to tear through an enemy. So we got the 35 gold, and then we got a relic. While your hip is below, or HP is below 50%, you have a 3 additional strength. So this will stack with our demon form, or just off our base attack, our base cards are going to be much stronger if we let our health get lower. There's no reason not to take that, but there are relics with bad effects as well as good effects. Let's see, whenever you play an attack this turn, gain 4 block. Kind of nice, but Sword Boomerang, I've seen this one before and I kind of like it because that means it deals 9 damage to one enemy. Or spreads it out, could do 6 and 3, or 3 to all, you know, if there's 3 enemies. Can be nice for a lot of weaker enemies or to focus on one enemy. Create a copy of a power. I wonder if you could copy... You know what? Let's take that. I don't know if you can copy Demon Form or not, or if it would even do anything. I like the question mark events more because they could be a monster or they could be one of these events. So I could upgrade 2 random cards and lose 17 HP. So that puts at 52. Not quite half, but I'm going to do it. I know I haven't shown upgrading just yet, but basically it makes our cards stronger. So you see Defend Plus, and I couldn't see what that one was. But I think it was our base attack one. And let's go after another elite enemy. I tend to like these high risk reward situations a lot better. So let's do... So you see our Defend has become Defend Plus, and now it does gain 8 block as opposed to the 5. So the value remains the same, but we get more for that value. Um, honestly, there isn't really much point to... Well, let's play Shrug It Off, see what we draw. Create a copy of a power or attack. But I can't really... Yeah. And like I said, there's no reason to try and hoard energy between turns. So this enemy does Enrage. Whenever I play a skill, he will gain 2 strength. So it's better for me to try and tank the damage he's going to do, or use my shield potion, which gives me 12 defense for 1 turn, than try to use skills to block, at least to a certain degree. I've seen it where his strength gets absurd, so you want to kill him as fast as possible. And there are all sorts of these interesting buffs and things I've seen through my play. There's a good variety of enemies, I'm sure, because this is an early access still, that once this game is feature complete, there will be even more enemies and hopefully more floors. But as it is, it's still a game I thoroughly enjoy. Let's go ahead and do Demon Form and try to out-damage him. So he's going to hit us for 6 and do a debuff to us. Looks like vulnerable, so we're going to take more damage. Let's not use that skill. Ooh, that's a lot of damage he's about to send our way. So we're going to play a risky gamble. So you saw he gained 2 strength right there. But since he's going to attack us, he's also going to take 4 damage because of our little shield thing. So we're still mitigating more damage than we're going to receive, but in the long run, that's going to really hurt us. So you have to be really frugal with your card usage. And I may die in this if it doesn't, if my strength doesn't quickly scale up. But, let's see, 39? Yeah, let's go ahead. I think I may actually win this now. Our strength scaled up fast enough that we're able to beat him before he beats us. In fact, that 1 card can... But you can see how that would ramp up really quickly. So we got the gold, we got the mummified hand. Whenever you play a power, a random card in your hand costs 0 for the turn. This actually is really wonderful with our demon form, because that's the only power we have. So if we play that, every other card, one of the other cards in our hand will cost 0, and there's a good chance that we'll be able to still do something with that turn instead of all our energy being put towards demon form. But otherwise, it's not strictly a beneficial thing for us because we don't have a lot of powers at this point. I didn't realize it, but that's the reason our strength got up so fast was the red skull, because we dropped under 50% HP. So we're going to take the mummified hand. In this case, there wasn't really a reason not to take it. Skills cost 0. Whenever you play a skill, exhaust it. So our blocks would cost 0, and that duplicate would cost 0. For 7 damage to all enemies. This would be another power we could play, but they kind of are mutually exclusive. You know what? I've never seen it. Let's play with it. And now we get one of our random artifacts that isn't corrupt from enemy. So Anchor. Start each combat with 10 block. So this is really good for us. This pretty much gives us a free first turn. We don't want to skip that relic. That pretty much gives us a free first turn with enemies. So we have 174 gold. The heal right there would not be a bad idea. This card I really like because it upgrades all your cards for the rest of combat. It's a 0 cost card, and then it gets exhausted, but you don't really need it after that because you only upgrade cards once. Choose to exhaust 2 cards in your hand. And it has exhaust. This is useful for another type of card which we have not really encountered just yet. Or to thin out your deck so you play more of your good cards. And then there's a sale on this one, so this card costs a lot less than it normally would. But I'm thinking about getting the Reaper to give us a little bit of survivability. You know what, let's go ahead and go for it. And I'm not going to end the episode yet, but at the next juncture we are. So this campfire, this is really the one icon other than the boss I've not gotten a chance to show. So you can rest and restore 30% of your max HP, so I'd get 26. But this would put me over half, and I kind of want to see if I can float around half. Or you can upgrade a card in your deck. You can only do one or the other, it would be one card. So these are all the cards in my deck, and you can click on a card and see what it's going to do. So this goes up to 10 damage and 3 vulnerable. Gains 3 strength. So it doesn't look like it's a very good upgrade until you start going turn for turn for turn. Let's see what corruption does when it upgrades. It costs 1 less to play initially. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Reaper, though. I think Reaper might be... Reaper or Rampage? No, let's go for Reaper. Give us a little bit of survivability. Maybe I can hit a few enemies, steal some HP, instead of sleeping at the campfire. But we're going to stop here. And maybe I'll throw up another episode pretty quickly the next day or the day after. But I'm really enjoying this game. I think it's a really well-made game so far, and if it keeps with this style and the way it's being played and just tweaks some of the balance, I think this will be a good game all the way to the finish. Even right now, I don't regret spending I believe it's $15.99 American dollars or USD on Steam. And yeah, definitely check it out if this looks like it'd be your type of game. And I'm going to play more of this later. So have a good one.